I just want to know, like, can two people genuinely be in love for more than, I don't know, 5-10 years? And I'm not talking like, oh yeah, we love each other. Like, we love each other. I'm talking like in love, like madly in love, like fully obsessed with each other, like want to spend every waking second, every breath, every moment of their time together. Like, can do no wrong. I am truly infatuated, truly obsessed with this person. Like, can that last more than like a couple years? And I'm like genuinely so for real. Like, I'm so serious because I don't know that I believe you can. And maybe that's on me. Maybe I need to go to therapy. But like most people that I know who are married, in relationships, whatever, that have been together for more than 10 years, it seems like they just tolerate each other. And I do think like there is a big difference between loving someone and choosing to love them and do life with them and experience things with them and being completely infatuated in love, obsessed with each other. But also like if it isn't that, I don't want it. So like we're all annoying. We're all human, right? Like it gets to a point when you're like, get away from me, you know? And I'm just thinking back on my like last relationship and I'm like, there was a point when I was like, do not speak to me. And bad example. I know that. But I'm just like, how do people, you can't be like madly in love, obsessed with someone for your entire life. Like, I just don't believe that is that real?
Wow, bless her heart.
Man.
What's your first reaction?
You know, it sounds bad and kind of judgmental, but it kind of made me mad. And then I'm like, okay, no, that I should feel sad for her that's kind of where she's coming from, that's all she really knows.
Yeah.
But I just was just kind of frustrated listening to it. Like, man, just clueless.
Clueless?
Like how in the world
then
would
you ask yourself, why is she clueless? So like, why does she not know any better? That's a genuine person. That's a real live girl that we heard on TikTok. And she was brave enough to just get on there, as you know people are, and express her question. This was a real question. And you heard in there, so she's clueless, but hopeless. Like, I don't believe this is real. Is it real? And then you hear, somebody that's been married 36 years, you hear some of the stuff that she says like halfway through. Well, nobody's perfect. And, you're going to be annoyed. We're human, kind of admitting and acknowledging that. So, yeah, but it's like, and I don't even want it if it's not this, what I would call infatuation or the novelty, the honeymoon, the obsession.
Yeah, the obsession. I'm like, oh, that just kind of scary sounding almost.
But she means just like, man, you're so, I think about the newness of the relationship. So let's unpack it. Let's dive in. So is it real? Is it realistic? Is her question, yes, that's possible? Or is the answer, no, that's not possible?
Well, that's a trick question.
There you go. That's exactly.
It's a trick question.
So it's not binary. It's not dualistic. There's so much wisdom in saying no, that's not realistic, and you don't want that, or it doesn't exist. But what does exist, and what is real, and
what is true love?
So she's already dead when she defines it in a binary dualistic frame, which you've heard me talk about. That's never true, right? So she's got the either or. Either you're going to be obsessed and infatuated and so in love and can't wait to get my hands on them and to be with them.
Spend every waking moment together.
You just love them and you love everything about them and you're literally obsessed, or you just tolerate them. Or so that's it. So let's talk about all the in between, right? It's not the either or.
Yeah.
But again, it was interesting. I just thought, man, bless her heart, she's lost, right? But that's where people are living, especially young people who have had crappy models, who've seen the high divorce rate, who've seen people, if they did stay together, they just it's a 40-year boxing match, as we say. It's just they're tolerating, they're annoyed, they're irritated, they've got bitterness and resentment.
I would
and they're
love
duking
to
it out.
see her parents. I would love to see what she where she came from.
But what is at the very bottom of that. Mm-hmm. And I don't know. I think, did she say it at the end of there? At the end? What did she say? Where you heard her fear. So it's this question that's posed as this, what's going on? But you heard the fear at the end. I'm just afraid somebody's going to get sick of me and leave me. How would I know that they wouldn't do that? So that's really what motivated, what was underlying the whole question. And isn't that interesting?
Yeah.
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 So bless her heart. She's afraid of that because that's what she's seen. So I need to know that there is a possibility you would always be obsessed with your favorite person in the world because if not, if they could get, quote, sick of you or annoyed with you, they may leave you. So is there a way to be sick of somebody and not infatuated and obsessed, but also not want to abandon them and reject them and leave them?
Yeah. And I heard her saying, I think it was after she said this sentence about, I mean, in my old relationship, there were just times that I was like, get out of here, or I don't want to see whatever she said. And then she kind of giggled and said, maybe I need therapy.
Yeah.
Maybe I need to go to therapy or something like that. And so when she giggled, when she said it, I thought that's her saying, I need some help. So I would like to talk about this.
So let me give her the answer to her first question. And the pervasive question, is it realistic to expect or to find love where you are infatuated or obsessed and cannot wait to spend every waking moment and nothing about that person bugs you and you're always in love with them? There's nothing... sorry about that. And the answer to that, no, that does not exist. That is not realistic.
No.
That can last, again, the novelty, that honeymoon period, that could last for a little bit. But no, that does not exist.
And do you know
anybody who's going to be in a monogamous relationship. But then we've got, the story gets better. It's not just, just wait, that drops off. And it's like it's always off the table forever, right? Go ahead.
Just when you said what you just said, I just want to, no one can really see me, but I kind of, snarled my nose a little bit and just like, ick. Like that to me just sounds like ick because it sounds so
Junior
fake.
High. Yeah.
It just sounds so temporary. Right. And I think it's because we're seeing it from where we see it now. I mean, of course, when we first met, when we're dating at Abilene Christian, you're thinking, I want to be together all the time. And, we'd stay up so late talking, and we could talk on the phone when we were long distance. We would talk, for hours. And that was before cell phones. Like, I think the phone was connected to the wall. So I get that. I get early on in the relationship, you're like a magnet. You just are pulled to each other, So I do understand that young kind of love, but then to really say that's what you hope to last forever. Like I guess we're so far into this that I'm like, no. I can't even picture that would or could or should last forever. Yeah. And I don't want to, because I look back and I think where our love was really cemented and grown was when we didn't feel like being together.
We had to come. She wants the fairy tale. She wants something that seems like, again, this is the fairy tale, the story that she's seen on the Disney movies. And I think maybe we all want that when we're young, but it's this, I love you for how you make me feel, right? Or I love you for what you do for me, but not I love you for who you are. Because once you find out, wow, this person isn't who I thought they were, or even if they are, right? I love Stanley Harwas's point. Marriage being the enormous thing means we're not the same person after we've entered it. So he says the primary problem is learning to love the stranger to whom you find yourself married. But when I say it's not bad news, just wait, that goes away, and that's never to be found again. It's actually, once you, again, no pain, no gain, right? Anything worth anything is worth the struggle, worth the pain, worth the suffering. And you go, well, wait, how can I skip that? No, there's no other way, right? What's that little picture I wrote about it in our room? about the rocky roads.
It's right there. Look at that. We
we've
moved it.
Thank you. Difficult roads often lead to beautiful destinations.
Boom.
And so, but we either think if you hit the rocky road or the difficult road, that's going to suck, or you're never going to be able to work through it, or man, I don't want that roller coaster, or can I just avoid that pain? Can we not stay? If somebody truly loves me, won't it just be just that obsession all the time? And so, no, it's not realistic. But then the depressing thing is when people say, that's just the way it is. Just get used to it. Just get ready. It's that cynical view that says marriage sucks. It doesn't get any better. And then, so it's either obsession, novelty, infatuation, honeymoon, and then it's over and you divorce, or you stay and it sucks. And so if it's till death do us part, it's a life sentence of hell. That's really the dualistic frame that most people are seeing. And so, of course, she's afraid of that. And I want to know, does it exist? And she was answering her own question. It sounded like, again, she started giving away enough to know whether it's, hey, maybe I need therapy, or, you know, I don't really think it's realistic. But... So, and she said, but I don't want it if it's not that. And so let's talk about what we have found,
man,
through the pain and through the suffering and through I'm going to forgive you and I'm going to grow. I'm going to let you be a mirror to let me see my own crap, my own faults, my own selfish nature. So if you're not selfish and getting what you want all the time, you may think you're losing. So what do you think you learn when you, oh, hey, Mila, come in. So what do you think you learn when you, or how do you grow when you actually don't get your way all the time, or when it's not all about you? Like, just talk about that non-selfish love, sacrificial living.
So the beauty in that is you learn what happens when you sacrifice your desires for someone else, that the world is not all about you. Everything doesn't rotate around Planet Jamie and what makes me happy or what I would choose or what I would want to do. It's yielding to someone else. And I can't explain what happens. I mean, you know, but it's like the Grinch. It's like your heart grows 2 sizes bigger every time you do that. Every time you decide, you know what, I'll let them go first. Yeah. You know what, this isn't a hill I want to die on. This is, you know, I'll let him choose. And you can tell too from that girl that was talking that she has not ever been a mother, because I think that is one of the most sacrificial things that you can possibly do with your life, is to be a mother or a father. And you just realize early on, oh, this rodeo is not about me anymore, you know, and just giving yourself to another human being, whether it be your child or, you know, in your marriage with your spouse. It is, you share this a lot with people, but it is one of the greatest crucibles in life that will test you and try you. And I mean, it is what builds those resilient muscles in you that make you feel, wow, life it's beautiful and it's hard. And you do get to see some beautiful scenery along the way and arrive at beautiful destinations that you wouldn't have. I mean, who wants to just swim in the shallow all the time?
Right. Well, and she hadn't connected the dots when she said, I know, and I thought, okay, she's going to share some wisdom here. She said, I know you can choose. She goes, I know you can choose love. And I don't mean like I'm just going to decide or choose to love. She said, I want to feel in love, not just I'm going to love you. So like, I guess she is under the imagination that if you're not in love, you know, and you hear people say, well, I love you, but I'm not in love with you. And it's like, so we know love is a choice. It's a decision. It's a commitment. That doesn't sound so sexy, right? That doesn't sound romantic. That sounds like, okay, so you're not in love, but you're just gonna love. And so that sounds this obligatory. It's my duty. Okay, I'm in and I said I would, so I'm not gonna break my promise. I mean, many will break their promise. But if you're in a covenant marriage and you are going to do that until death do you part, she thinks it's an either or. Like I'm going to be in love, that obsessive, compulsive, whatever I keep saying, that infatuation love, or it's just going to be my duty. I'm just going to, I will love you, but that's not going to have the romance. It's not going to have the passion, the chemistry. And I'm here to tell you right now. So if and when that does wane and you start to lose some of the romantic love and you're not feeling it, and maybe it has nothing to do with the other person being annoying or you resenting them or, maybe you're tired. Maybe you're in a bad mood. Maybe you're in a bad season of life. Maybe you're depressed. Maybe you're anxious. Maybe you just can't see, the forest for the trees as far as who that person is or what you've got in your relationship. But the beautiful thing, I think, is when you choose to stay and you choose to love, and then I'm going to love you. Like what comes of that? So what you build. So one of the things I would say is, even though I became less selfish after being married to you, and I realized just how selfish I was, when I truly, truly started thinking of someone other than myself, I think, to the max was when Chandler was born. So becoming a parent. So when you say, I'm going to love you, even if some of that chemistry, passion, romantic love has faded somewhat, when you have kids, you've now procreated this life that now is outside of you, that you both, that contains literally 50% of your DNA.
Yes.
And it's like, I am going to love this child, and look what we've created. And now we have a family. And then you and I both know the joy that comes from parenting. And how can you say that, Brian? It's so hard. And it was some of the hardest times in your life. And you guys even lost a child. But the incredible joy that we feel now, and the satisfaction, the fulfillment when we see our adult kids now raising their kids, our grandkids, and I get to dandle them on my knee. I think there's no higher calling. There's no greater joy. And if you haven't experienced that, right, then you don't know it to be true.
Yes.
And so when I look at you, and she said, that, I don't know if she ever said it this way, but most men my age will say their best friend is their wife if they're still married, right? And now they say only like 60 or 70% of men will say that their best friend is their wife. And then like 30% of women will say it's their husband. And that's because you guys have, more relationships and all that. And so women, widows do better than widowers, and so we know all that. But I think it's safe to say that you are my best friend. I would rather hang out with you than anyone. And that's after 36 years. So girl, listening, TikTok girl, I want you to hear, man, I just wish she could just know the joy that we feel and the passion and the romance. Yeah. All the chemistry and all the bells and whistles that can still be there. And so you said this today, but what's the one thing we always say? What is the key? And I say it in the wedding ceremonies. It's not love. The key to where you're not going to allow bitterness or resentment or those differences that you've just tolerated, that you've now learned to value and treasure. How do you keep that from taking hold and from causing the lack of intimacy in your marriage? What's the word?
Forgiveness.
Yeah. And then what fosters the heart of forgiveness, we say? To
not criticize and to thank each other often and be specific with your thanks.
Ding, 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 ding. Okay, so gratitude. You were just talking about that today.
Yes.
And your Mindset Monday, that was beautiful. Can you share that?
Yes. And I want to say,
so gratitude. That is it. Gratitude. I'm just so grateful, and we're thankful. And so you want to have the antidote to suffering and bitterness and resentment. It is gratefulness.
Yes. Yeah. And, bless their hearts. One thing I was thinking as I listened to her was, so many of this generation have been, and I know I sound like a grandma, but they have been raised by The Bachelor and Bachelorette, by the Kardashians, by Love is Blind. And we watch some of that with the best of them.
Oh, love
it. But it's
fast
because
forward to the train wrecks.
we kind of laugh, or whatever, you're like, oh my gosh. But for people who truly, that's all they've ever seen, all they've ever known, of course that's her question, because that's what she sees as love. And I don't know why this illustration just popped into my head, but to me, this is what I picture. So we're about to have dinner. It's going to be so good. We're making burger bowls. Oh my gosh.
Burger in a bowl.
But this is the example that came to my head. The question that she was asking was, do you want to have nerds for dinner? And that's what we can eat for also tomorrow. Nerds, those little candies they're so gross. There's those little dotty.
Nerds.
They come in a little box.
When's the last time you've laid eyes on a nerd?
No, you see nerds at Halloween.
Okay, I didn't see any nerds. Sorry.
Okay, they come in a little box.
I saw some nerds come to our door asking for
promise
candy.
you, every single person listening to this podcast, y'all let us know if you know what nerds are.
Okay.
Just tell me. Am I crazy? Okay, so let's go back to the example.
Fast Times at
Would
Ridgemont
you
High.
like to
I know a
have
nerd from that movie.
nerds for dinner? Or would you like to go to Perry's and have a steak with a baked potato and a wedge salad and some of their bread with some butter? That's what that question sounds like to me.
Yeah.
Right.
It was
that's
so
why I
ridiculous.
was like,
you were just so mad.
I was kind of mad, which I feel bad because if anyone's listening and they are asking, they're like, hey, I'm in her boat. I'm not mad at you.
Well, no, I get it.
That's
why I want to tear up the comments. I want to go in there, but you realize that's where people are living. And then you have to think, why are they living that? Because obviously it's a foolish question, right? And it's like, come on, girl, just wake up and grow up. But who's going to teach them?
Yeah.
Come on.
So did you comment on that?
Yeah, I did.
You did?
Yeah, you want me to? And I'll pull it up.
I would love to hear what you commented. Yep. And then did she answer anything back?
I haven't
And then
looked.
did you really want me to read this in a little bit or no? You just said that.
Say that again. Yeah, go. You talk about the mindset, and I'll look this up.
Okay, so on Mondays on our social media, I always do a mindset Monday because I feel like we have to make our mindset kind of a full-time job. We've got to mind the gap. And so today I talked about gratitude, and I said it's a word we hear so often, it can start to feel like background noise. Yeah, gratitude, blah, blah, blah. But here's the truth. Gratitude might be the simplest and most powerful mindset shift we have access to. Gratitude turns what you have into enough. It can change the feel of a moment, a day, even an entire life. Feeling stuck? Step outside, breathe deep, and name 3 things you're grateful for out loud. It's wild how quickly your nervous system responds. Feeling a little meh about your marriage? Pause and bring to mind 3 things you love, appreciate, or admire about your spouse, or remember what drew you to them in the first place. Struggling to get out of bed in the morning to tackle the day, quote unquote, try entering the day more gently. Before your eyes even open, whisper 3 things you're thankful for right now in this moment. Dreading those household chores, turn them into worship. God, thank you for these clothes to wash and for the people who wear them. Thank you for a working washing machine so I don't have to wash everything by hand. Thank you for these dishes, evidence of a meal we were blessed to eat. Vacuuming dog hair 2 times daily. Thank you for these pups that greet me each day with joy. Offer every ordinary task as a sacrifice of gratitude and just watch what shifts. And then I said, I'd love to hear how you practice gratitude each day and how it changes your mindset. Your stories always inspire me. And then there's a scripture, and I'll read it maybe in a little bit.
That's great. No, let's end with that.
Okay.
That's amazing. Hang on. Let me make sure that's, no, I loved that because gratitude. And by the way, I was looking, I cannot find my comment.
Oh, okay.
And what's interesting is usually at least one person will like your comment, you know, or comment back, or that usually the creator will comment. But she had a ton, obviously. And
wow.
but what I did love just now when I was looking, there's tons of people who've logged in and said the same thing, man. Married 45 years here. Hey, me and my husband of 40 years. And it's the older ones, you know, if they're me and my husband 35 years and strong. And they're just talking about how love can fade, but it's a choice. And when you stay in there, you grow into something that's way more mature and it's deeper and long lasting. Yeah. So there was a lot of great comments, and she'll figure it out and she'll find what she's looking for. But I thought it was interesting too that her question was based out of the fear of being left.
Yeah.
The fear, if we don't have that is totally a fairy tale, then it's not going to last. Somebody's going to leave me.
So if she were about to hop on Zoom with you for an appointment or sit on our couch for an appointment, I promise you, I know the first question you would ask her, or one of the first questions.
Yeah.
What would you say?
Well, first, tell me about your relationship with your mom and dad.
Yeah.
And then I would say, so have you ever seen a relationship where someone got sick of the other person and abandoned them? Yeah. And then it would be, have you ever been in that relationship? Because that's where the tears roll.
The question that I guess that you would say is, tell me about your dad. Tell me about your father.
Yeah. It all, man, so many times it comes back to that. Yeah. But so that I want to see the fairy tale love. We all want to see a version of that, and we want to know that it can last. And so for me, I think the question is, what did you guys do to get through the period where maybe you didn't like that person, where there was no chemistry, there was no passion? Maybe you traded in the passion for your spouse and threw it into work, or threw it into raising your kids. So, you know, then empty nest comes, the empty nest, and the kids are gone, and man, who are you, right? Or I don't like you, you bug me. So how do you get it back when it is a roller coaster, or it is the difficult roads? What would you say? And gratitude, that's key number one, being grateful. So we always say, don't wake up and, think of the three things that bug me about my spouse. What are the three things that I love and treasure? So I'll tell you, because I just asked you a question, what are the ways to get back to that? And to help it grow. One of the things that's meant a lot to me, the last 2 mornings where I've come in and said, hey, sweetheart, I got up a little early, I had my coffee, and I came in, and you were just stirring in bed, and you said, hey, I was just thanking God for you. And man, that means a lot. And I just think, you know what? If you're waking up, not like, what's his sorry butt doing in there, If you're waking up thanking God for me, the things that you appreciate about me, it's like, man, what are you going to notice that day?
Yes.
It's what you're going to focus on.
Yeah.
And it's what you're going to appreciate. And then you expressing that, man, that just makes you want to live into it, and live up to it.
I think something that's so easy for many of us is you roll out of bed, you grab your phone, and you just immediately either start scrolling whatever you scroll, whether it be TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, or you're like, I don't do that crap, But guess what you probably start doing is looking at your email for work. You're like, I don't have time for that mess.
Right.
But guess what? You have time for emails that start exploding your day. And so there you start in a reactionary kind of way, like, oh God, I got to get up. I got to get my day going. I got to start replying to some of these things, and other things just start, it's like a snowball, and your day is quickly out of your control. You've allowed it to be controlled by your whatever you opened up on your phone. And so instead, I think if you can say, man, before I pick up my phone, I'm going to, and it's such a sweet time in the morning if you allow this to happen. If you start a habit of going, man, before my eyes even open, like wake up and go, what was I just thinking about? Or like, what was I dreaming about? Or what, something comes to mind. And sometimes it's a negative thought. Like sometimes I'm like dread, like, I've got to work on this today, or I didn't sleep great last night, or I had a bad dream or a bad thought about something. And so, it's not always like you wake up with this rainbow and, sunshine dream. It's like, it's raining outside, or I've got to do this or that. You can, in that moment, capture those thoughts and say, wait, I want to be grateful. What am I grateful for? And so before my feet ever hit the floor, I just began to just start reciting over and over, man, I'm so grateful for our marriage. I'm grateful for a husband who is, right here beside me in the bed, or that's in there making his coffee, early this morning, or man, last night, that event that we hosted or were a part of, I was so proud. He did such a good job at it. Or, what I'm looking forward to, I start thinking about our kids, each of them, and calling them out by name, and what I'm grateful for, what I want to pray over them. I'm looking at one of the dogs that just, is laying there, and I'm grateful for, just recalling, I don't remember the name of that song when we were growing up, but count your many blessings one by one, whatever that old song was. That's really what you're doing. You're starting your morning off saying, I'm not going to take, I don't know all the statistics, but I know some really cool stuff happens within your cells while you sleep and in your brain while you sleep. Like the recovery that happens is amazing. So when you can wake up, and even if a thought hits you right when you become kind of conscious, if you can catch it and go, man, as clean of a slate as I can start with, let's do it. If I can choose what I'm going to dial my day in with, I'm going to choose, here we go. Boom. Over to gratitude, not grabbing my phone and flipping, seeing all that, because that immediately takes you out of the moment and you are ungrounded, unregulated, out of control. And I believe, like the 2 mornings that I told you, I'm really thankful for you. It's because I started my mornings like that. Yeah. I think if I would have just started with scrolling or like, I got to get up and do this, I would have seen you and gone, good morning, love you, how, whatever. But I wouldn't have specifically looked you in the eye and said what I said.
Yeah. Well, so before, I want you to end with that scripture, but I want to redeem our TikTok girl. So obviously there are people who are trolling, right? They want to just throw out the most inflammatory thing. They know people are going to, all that people are going to be jumping on, and they're doing it for the engagement. And they hope the thing will blow up and go viral, whatever. I didn't really get that sense with her. But I want to redeem her because of her response to some of the ones that matched my response as far as some of the comments that I made. So one of the first ones, or one of the top ones, said, "That is not love, babe. That is passion, infatuation, obsession, and the chemicals in your brain on overload. It's impossible to be like that 24/7. I think it comes and goes, and that's not going to keep you together in the long run if you truly don't love them." And she said, yes, this is the creator. I am learning this through these comments. I guess I've just never experienced that steady love where I felt confident and safe that my partner is going to choose to stay once things get hard. So this is just such a good lesson too on what's underlying the question, the fear that people are feeling. Somebody said, I have been married 45 years, and yes, it's a choice. What people don't understand is there are highs and lows. There are sometimes extended periods of time that you aren't thrilled with them, but you make a choice to stay and work at it. He is my very best friend in the world, my family, my anchor, my safe space, the best father and grandfather to my people. Aww. He's the one who has held me when I was drowning and built me a boat. And she said, the creator, I love this. No one is perfect. And I think choosing to stay committed to each other despite that is the beauty.
Okay. So I'm sorry that I felt
see
bad.
there.
Now you tell me her name and I want to reach out to her and I want to say.
Miss TikTok has been redeemed. But way to go, married people who jumped in and articulated really, really well what what love is
Mm-hmm.
and what commitment means and what choosing to stay can buy you in the long run. It is beautiful. And man, it's great.
Yeah.
So let's end with your little scripture there, Mindset Monday, girl.
Worth it.
Yeah.
I'm thankful we're in it for
Yeah,
the long
me
haul.
too.
Okay, so the scripture that I love that speaks so much peace and life to me is Romans 12, 1 through 2. And this is the Message version. So here's what I want you to do. God helping you take your everyday, ordinary life, your sleeping, eating, going to work, walking around life, and place it before God as an offering. Embracing what God does for you is the best thing you can do for Him. Fix your attention on God. You'll be changed from the inside out. And that to me it went along with the little gratitude writing that I did today. I think that keeps you grounded and grateful.
That's awesome, baby. Thank you. Well, I am obsessed with you, and I cannot wait to spend the rest of the evening
And
together.
eat burger bowls.
Have our burger bowls.
Hey, I love you too, babe. And I am in it for the long haul.